folks. I'm Tom Vasel.
Zee Garcia, yellow.
Sam Healey, what's up, folks?
You like board games? Turn off the video.
Bye.
Oof.
No, but it's not a board game.
You're allowed to like board games and movies.
Okay, so
Movies.
we're talking about movies. It does seem like most of our non-board game lists are either movies or TV somehow,
Right.
I guess. But this one we're talking about our top 10 favorite movie heroes or positive protagonists. I mentioned this on a Q&A, like protagonist. One guy's like, well, in Die Hard, Hans Gruber is the protagonist and John McClane is the antagonist. I get it. Thank you, first of all, for bringing Die Hard into yet another discussion.
At least it wasn't a discussion about Christmas movies.
Okay, anyway.
Now it
But
is.
secondly, you know what we mean. Also,
Just leads,
we
okay? Leads.
excluded,
Good guys.
I think we excluded
Good guy leads.
superhero movies.
Yes.
I didn't.
You should
We said that
have.
on the...
I did then.
Anyhow, because we already talked about like superheroes.
Right.
Maybe we'll do a top 10 list of superheroes at some point. But for me, these are not always... I separated how much I like the character from how much I like the movie.
Right. Right.
Like, some of these are my favorite movies. Well, I mean, all of them are movies I really like.
Right.
But there's some movies that aren't even in my top 50 or even in my top 100, but I liked that particular character a lot.
I also tried to have only... I tried to have 10 different actors. Because I found myself, as I was writing down my long list, I found myself writing down multiple characters that the same actor
like
had
Tom
played. Well, Tom Hanks, Harrison Ford, Matt Damon.
Whoa,
So,
stop spoiling your list.
I'm
bro.
just saying.
I think all mine are different actors. His are not.
Well,
I think they're all different. Yeah.
All right, well, here we go. Let's find out the characters.
Number 10.
all right, my number 10 is from Terminator 2. And that is Sarah Connor, played by Linda Hamilton. And the reason I like this character so much
considered
is
her.
because it was such a stark difference from Terminator 1. I mean, in Terminator,
Oh, sure.
she
Yeah.
is the damsel in distress.
Yeah.
And in T2, no, she's large and taking charge.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? And I really enjoyed that difference between those two movies. I just really enjoyed how she came out and was taking care of business in Terminator
Like she was
2.
escaping before they came in to get her.
Correct.
She was. That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
No, you're right. That difference between the one and two is really, I hadn't even thought of that, but that's dramatic.
Yeah. It's
Because I
it's
barely think of one is the thing, but yeah, that difference is dramatic.
Yeah. So she barely squeaked in on number 10, and there's a whole lot of other ones that you guys probably thought I included instead of that, but I really enjoyed. The more I thought about it, the more I thought it deserved a place on the list. Sarah Connor from Terminator 2, played by Linda Hamilton, my number 10.
Nice.
My number 10 is Truman Burbank from the movie Truman, or The Truman Show. And I really just liked his character because he was fairly optimistic, except for a brief moment in the movie, but he was fairly optimistic, and yet you were like, I really identify with him, like the camera falls from the sky, and it's like, why is that happening? And I up to that point, Jim Carrey was kind of the liar guy. And hilarious. I think he's a funny actor. But he had not done many, I guess he had done a couple other dramatic roles, but this one I felt like he did a really good job.
Right.
He was not just Jim Carrey. He was the kind of guy who I wouldn't mind having as my neighbor. Mm-hmm. He was just a really fun character, and I thought he did a good job at playing that guy who's awakening slowly to, am I in a movie?
Right.
So, Truman Burbank, my number 10.
My number 10 is Conan from Conan the Barbarian, Conan the Destroyer, whatever. I really like the character of Conan.
I would never have guessed you to put Conan on your list. Really?
Oh, yeah, I like Conan a lot.
Are you talking about Arnold Schwarzenegger Conan?
Yeah. I mean, Jason Momoa was okay as Conan.
He was
but
not Conan.
That movie was not that great.
Right.
So, I really liked The Barbarian the best. The Destroyer is okay, but The Barbarian is a movie I really, really dig. I mean, there's a lot of great characters in that movie. You know, it's it's an action, witches flying around kind of movie, but the characters are why I keep coming back to a movie where the action's fairly dated at this point. I like Conan as a character. I like his sidekicks. I like the bad guy. I like what's going on and the setting that they're in. But yeah, Conan is this larger-than-life, flawed, tragic, sort of, heroic character, destined for greatness but struggling often, and I like that. I think it works well. I like that mythology, I guess. So, yeah, Conan's my number 10.
Cool.
Arnie.
Number 9.
All right, my number 9 is played by Mel Gibson, and that is William Wallace. Now, Mel Gibson has played a lot of these similar characters. Patriot has a similar type character, but
Right.
I keep going back and watching Braveheart. Part of it is because that middle battle scene is one of my favorite battle scenes of all time. Hold! But he does a really good job, I thought. He does a good, when he first shows up in the movie, he's kind of a happy-go-lucky person. He kind of gets dragged into he doesn't want to have any part of the resistance. And then, tragedy strikes. I really liked it. And when he comes in for that revenge that first time,
I wouldn't say he's happy-go-lucky.
not happy-go-lucky, but he's kind of on a pretty good.
Man,
I'm
he's just like, hey,
here."
let's toss some rocks. What's up, bud?
Yeah. He's not like
He enjoys the toss of
he
a
just
rock.
wants to meet that girl, marry her, and live a peaceful life.
Okay.
But when he walks in after they kill his wife,
Whoa.
or whatever, it's 96, dude. It's
Dude.
21 years old now. When he walks in and you see the cold look on his face,
Yeah, he's
oh
like-
my goodness.
He's like,
That was a really good scene. And then his speech to get the guys all riled up, great speech. The freedom, his death, whole thing was really good. I like it. He carries that movie for
Yeah,
sure.
absolutely.
wait, he dies at the end?
Again, the spoilers are going to be flying in this list. Spoiler alert,
I guess we
everybody.
should say there will be spoilers in this list. Although I don't have any super recent movies that.
All right, my number 9 is Jason Bourne from the Bourne movies, of course, and this is
Ooh.
played by Matt Damon. I had a few of these guys on my list. Okay, I had Ethan Hunt and Jason Bourne and James Bond. James Bond I discounted pretty early because he's just not a great guy, right? James Bond is like a chauvinist, hard drinking, not a
He's
good.
also almost like a caricature. He doesn't feel like a real character.
I guess so, but as a person, he's pretty no. And then Ethan Hunt and Jason Bourne, I like both, but Jason Bourne has that getting dragged into a conflict when all he wants to do is not be a part of it.
Okay.
As a character, and I find that very compelling, and he does a great job, Matt Damon, of giving, breathing life into this character. It's something he hadn't done before he did the first one, which was a long time ago now, but, do the action hero thing. And what he brings to that is more depth than the usual Steven Seagal whatever, right? And I like that. I like that he was able to pull that off well. So Jason Bourne.
Pretty bad.
Wait, two of my characters are played by
Comparison,
Steven Seagal on my list.
No, they're not.
Jean-Claude Van Damme's also on here. Stop it.
That's like the far end
I
of the
know.
spectrum. Matt Damon, Steven Seagal.
Anyway, Jason Bourne is my number 9.
All right, what do you got?
All right, my number 9 is a character by the name of Daniel Rudiger
Yes.
from the movie Rudy, played by Sean Astin. And the thing that I loved about this character is that he had this just go get 'em attitude the entire time, even through the difficulties of not getting into Notre Dame. He still was doing his schoolwork and his classwork and getting his classes in at a community college until finally that one day comes where he gets accepted to Notre Dame. And then it's all about,
Throwing
okay,
the ring in the fire. Yeah.
now how do I get myself on the football team? Because it's like he's way too short, by those standards. And so he finally gets himself onto the practice squad, which never sees the playing field. And then finally, in his last game of the season, he's put in the last play. Or the last series of plays.
And he dies.
It's the final. Yeah, it's the final. Right, it's that final.
Well, he gets put in the last play, and then he makes the stop, And then there's one more play after that, and the coach just tells him to stay in that last play.
It's a great
It's
movie.
a great movie, and it's a great character, and it's one that is I think, a good role model that people can follow of persistence, consistency, staying at it, and that type of thing. And I can't say that all of these people are good role models. But I will say that Daniel Rudiger is a good role model as far as staying the course and not giving up.
Never seen it.
Are you serious? Mm-hmm. I just died a little bit inside.
I just died.
Number 8.
My number 8 has been mentioned already somehow. It's crazy. Sarah Connor is my number 8.
Wow. Well, this will not be a three-way crossover.
And again,
I did consider her, though.
I was not thinking of the first movie. This is Sarah Connor T2 all the way, right?
Yeah.
Because she is, like you said, I mean, you somehow put her and Arnie in the same movie and she steals his thunder. It's like, how? How?
Right.
I mean, the man is like a human wall and, a robot in that movie to boot.
Yeah.
And I mean, her scenes are some of my favorite scenes in this movie. Her escape scene, all of that stuff. And then she'll go from completely being like tough and beast to vulnerable with the kid in a second with her son coming in. The whole thing is just great. And T2 is one of my favorite movies anyway, ever. And Sarah Connor, Linda Hamilton's character, is a big part of it. So my number 8, Sarah Connor, and I'm not talking about no Dragon Lady Sarah Connor either. I'm talking about Linda Hamilton, Sarah Connor.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Man, from the
the
new
TV
one.
show?
It's
The TV show.
no, the new one has that Dragon Lady from Game of Thrones as Sarah Connor.
Oh, I haven't.
Dude, Terminator Genesis.
No, he hasn't watched Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
I haven't really either, but I know it's her.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm talking about.
What did you say about Siri? She popped
Hey,
on.
Siri, shut up.
All right, what do you got?
All right, my number 8 is a character from the movie Alien and Aliens and Alien 3.
Well, there's only one character that was in all three of those.
Hey,
That's true.
the alien is in all those characters, sir.
That's true.
It was killed in one of them.
No, that one was just wounded, maimed.
No, Aliens. No. There's no crossover between Alien and Aliens with the aliens. Right?
That one alien had a baby alien.
Of course, there's a crossover.
No, between 2 and 3, but in one, that
between
alien was killed.
It was
Right,
what?
but the species is still alive.
All right, whatever.
It's Ellen Ripley.
It is. It's Ellen Ripley. It's not an alien. Come on.
We're ruining his interest. Sorry. That was
Anyway, Ellen Ripley is, again, very similar to Sarah Connor, except that you mentioned how she kind of got vulnerable with John Connor.
Right.
I didn't really get that. She was kind of standoffish to John. Towards the end of the movie, she softened up,
Right.
But at the beginning and towards the middle, she was pretty much, you need to do this. She was very standoffish from John. She didn't.
I mean, she's trying to be tough love, doing the tough love.
Yeah,
thing.
yeah. But Ellen Ripley kind of did the same thing, especially between 1 and 2, where she was definitely not very combative.
in one.
In one.
Right.
I mean, she was just definitely just running for her life.
Right.
But then in number 2, she starts off kind of like that because she's having all these flashbacks. But at some point, when that little kid gets in the picture, it's like click. And something just
her
gets turned
maternal
on.
thing, right,
her
right.
maternal instincts kick in, or whatever you want to call them. And she's all about, no, you're not going to touch this kid. You're not going to, no, I'm
Right.
in charge.
Right.
And from that point on, she's one of my favorite characters of the movie because she's just taking charge. She's showing Marines how to fight these aliens. And that just made, that,
Well, maybe
that
they
made my
should put
day.
her in charge.
Yeah, no, they're talking about the little girl that way. Why don't you put her
Yeah,
in
man.
charge?
They mostly come out at night, mostly.
Yeah.
All right.
So my number 8, Ellen Ripley from Aliens, Sigourney Weaver.
My number 8 is Victor Navorsky. What movie is that?
I don't know.
It's I could have put a lot of Tom Hanks characters in here, but this is one I really like.
Oh, Terminal.
Terminal. Yeah.
I had to look it up because I actually was like, what's that guy's name?
Yeah.
But I like characters who are resilient. You mentioned Rudy. I like that he just comes in, he's stuck in this terminal, and as the movie goes by, he's just like, I'm going to make it work. I'm going to make it work. I'm going to make it work. I'm going to make it work until finally then he's like, fine, I'm out of here. And I like that whole concept.
That's a good one.
I like how he's kind of cheerful. The guy who they got playing the bad guy, well, I guess he's the bad guy.
Kind of, yeah. But
Well, he
he's
gets
not
worse as the movie goes by.
He does, but they never turned him into a caricature, which I liked.
Right, but still, he's like always frustrating that guy. Hey, he figures out how to return the cards and get money, which, by the way, wouldn't work today because it's all credit card now. But I just like that fact that at the end of the movie, everyone in that terminal loves him.
Yeah.
You know, they just do.
Right.
They're so excited for anything that happens to him. It's really cool. I like him a lot. So
That's a good choice. I don't like that movie that much, but that character is very good. Yeah, that's a good call.
Number 7.
My number 7 is from a series of movies where they're not all really very good movies, but I really like this character. I'm talking about Riddick.
Really? Wow.
Played by Vin Diesel from the, Pitch Black was the first one, and then the Chronicles of Riddick, something and something else and whatever.
So which movie did you like him best in?
Pitch Black is the first one. I still think it's the best one. It has an indie kind of feel. That was really before they had any money to throw behind this series. But he's very effective in it. And he starts really as the antagonist, and then they shift that over to beasties and monsters, and so he takes over and, quote-unquote, becomes an anti-hero, if you would. But as a character, I think it's very interesting, and he does a lot with very little in the movie, which works for me. I find that character, the mysterious aspect of the character, really works for that sci-fi setting. So I like it a lot. Riddick is a cool character. And I think really they've made a movie series and cartoons and everything based on how cool and interesting that character is. Because that's the only thing they've been able to carry over, right?
They made a cartoon out of that?
Yeah, they did.
Wow. I didn't know
Like
that.
a cartoon movie,
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's interesting.
But yeah, Riddick is... It's character I really
It's like
My
an
number-
animated movie.
An animated movie, yeah.
When I think of cartoon, I think kids on Saturday morning.
Oh, no. That'd be weird.
Animated, yeah. Well, that's why I was
kids.
like, they made a cartoon?
Get your eyes operated on
the Saturday Morning Adventures of Riddick.
Exactly.
That's my 7.
All right, my number 7 is Leanne. I think the last name is Tucci or Tuki. I'm not sure how to pronounce the last name. She is the main character from The Blind Side. And
Okay.
The Blind Side is kind of a quiet movie, right? It's a quiet movie about a family who kind of adopts this boy and brings him in and he gets him to play football. But she does a really good job at playing this southern, no-nonsense mom. It's Sandra Bullock who plays the main character.
Right.
And who helps this kid, but he changes her too. It's that typical thing. But I don't know. I really liked how she played the character in the movie, where she's standing there telling the coach what to do, and the coach is like, "Shut this woman up," type thing.
Right.
I really liked her in that movie. I like the movie as a general whole, and I like the fact that it's based on a true story, and it's a feel-good. But the movie isn't really a sports movie, would you say?
No, it's definitely a
Well, I mean, there's
sports
sports in it, but it's not really about the games. It's about the relationship between her and this kid, basically.
True, but that relationship completely revolves around the game.
Well,
It's a sports movie.
Yeah. Well, I like it anyway. So, what's her name
You
again?
can like a sports movie.
Leanne.
It's all right.
No, I love sports movies. I just don't know. Okay. Anyway, go on. Your turn.
All right. My number 7 is a character from the movie The Gladiator, and it is the main character, Maximus, played by Russell Crowe. I just love the journey that this movie takes that character on, how he is the man in charge, going to be replacing the Emperor as... he's going to replace the Emperor because the Emperor knows that his son, who's supposed to replace him, isn't fit for the job, and General Maximus is ready and he's humble and he's willing to. Well, actually, he doesn't want that. And one of my favorite lines is, "That's exactly why you need to take it, is because you don't want this." And so, I just enjoyed how he starts off as the guy. He goes through a series of hard knocks, being stabbed in the back.
That's a slight
understatement. But he goes through a lot of things, and he comes back at the very beginning. Not how you would, I guess, naturally want him to come back, as far as everything being okay and all that kind of stuff. But he definitely has that position of power. He falls by no fault of his own, and then he rises back, and I just like that progression. And I thought Russell Crowe did a really good job in that movie. It's one of my favorite movies of all time, actually. So that is Maximus in The Gladiator, played by Russell Crowe.
Number 6.
My number 6 is from a movie that most people probably don't know or have watched. It's been, I don't know when it came out, the 90s, but it's Dave Kovic from the movie Dave.
Oh, okay. The one about the guy who looks, he's like a lookalike for the president.
Right, he looks just like the president.
Yeah.
So they say, hey, we need you to come in and stand in for the president, like his legal team, because the president is going to do something important. The president's not doing something important. The president's having an affair. President has a stroke. And so these guys want to retain power. So they're like, oh, you need to stay in and be the president for a while. And this guy is just a super nice guy.
Yeah.
He has gone around and done like impersonations of the president for money, like small time money. But then he's suddenly now the president, and they're trying to control him. And he's like, you ain't going to control me. And it's really fun to watch. He's not like a super strong alpha type person. And he has to find some way to not have these, the evil Secretary of State or whoever. I forget who was the evil bad guys. They're trying to tell him, here's how you run the country, blah, blah, blah. And then he also has to deal with the president's wife, who was not having a good relationship with the president. Was that Sigourney Weaver, I think?
Yes.
Yeah. It's a really good movie. I really like it. But
Does she know he's not she knows, obviously.
She figures it out in about, 2 seconds?
Yeah. Because he's nice to her.
He's nice to her, so she's like, wait.
And she knows this is not my husband.
But it's a pretty solid movie, but the movie's good, but I really like that character.
Right.
That guy who's thrust into being American president, doesn't really want to be president, but at the same time doesn't want to let these other guys run the country. And he finds a way out of it, which is pretty interesting. So that's Dave.
My number 6 is from I think it's my most recent movie on the list, and that is a character from Rogue One. The new Star Wars movie that came out, and it was played by Felicity Jones, Jen Erso. I was not expecting.
I thought you were going to say the robot, man.
Yeah, man. How can you not like the robot?
I thought about it, but
Okay, this one we probably shouldn't spoil.
no, we shouldn't. Most of the funny scenes
What happens at the end, though?
the robot comes from, most of the funny scenes that the robot comes from actually originated or are funny because of Jen Erso's involvement in that scene, or for one reason or another, she's either on one end of the comment or the other end of the comment, and that's why the whole scene is funny. That's one of the things I thought about. But she follows this, I guess, line of female leads where they don't want to be, or at least the character doesn't seem like she wants to be the female lead. You know what I'm saying? She's like what's the word I'm looking for?
An unwilling.
Not really
hero.
unwilling. Not really unwilling. It's another word, but that's closer. Where she's
Reluctant hero.
there. You go. She's reluctant. She's reluctantly in this because she doesn't want to. She feels like she's been betrayed and by her former mentor. What?
Whoa, watch out now.
What?
He's in like the first 5 minutes of the movie still.
What happens
yeah.
after that?
So anyway, I just really enjoyed her in this role. I wasn't expecting to enjoy it as much as I did, which is why it made the list, because it impacted me much more than I thought it would. So Jen Erso from Rogue One, my number 6.
This one I actually slightly disagree with you on. I thought she was fine, but for example, I like Rey much better.
Yeah, Ray is like, I mean,
From
that's on my
episode
short
7.
list for sure. I loved her character.
Well, she's also on my short list as well. Ray was. I don't know. I guess with Ray, she was going up against Luke Skywalker because their starting stories are so similar that I had that tension. Jen Erso, her story is
Well, they're different. One is like an
different.
innocent, like, woo! And then Jen Erso's more like hard-boiled.
yeah. I mean,
Right,
yeah.
sure.
So I mean, I just enjoyed her character much more than Ray's, although Ray's still made the list,
All right, what do
the
you
short
got?
list.
Yeah.
Is yours Ray? Because that'd be hilarious.
That would be. No, my number 6 is a character from Django Unchained, and it's Dr. King Schultz, who steals that movie. This is...
He really does.
I can't remember the guy's name off the top of my head, but he is very...
Django?
Huh?
Oh, you mean
No, the actor's name.
Christopher Waltz.
That's it, yeah. And he's been getting a ton of attention anyway, you know, for his performances.
Oh, he's pretty good.
He's very, very good. He's very specific, though. He's the kind of he's a character actor, really. But in this movie, he breaks that character and steals the movie, and it is just fantastic. I love watching scenes with him in there. You know, he plays a very good counterpart to Django, Jamie Foxx's character, but he is the beating heart of the movie, really, for me. And he is both hard-boiled and kind and understanding and verbose. He's like loquacious, and it doesn't seem to fit. He's like in the Old West, right? But he's very eloquent, and at the same moment, he'll say something very, very elegant, and then pull out a gun and shoot somebody, and you're like, whoa, okay, this guy's not kidding around.
Right, yeah.
I really like that
Do you think he plays a better hero or villain?
Well, he hasn't played that many heroes is the thing, right?
He usually plays the villain.
Yes. And he does a very good villain. The guy he's scary, right? But I want to see him do more of this kind of role, a character that is a mentor-style character, because King Schultz is fantastic. So that's my number 6.
King Schultz? Boy, you really like him. All right.
Number 5.
All right, my number 5 is a character from the movie Saving Private Ryan, and that is the main character of the movie, even though it's not named after him, Captain John Miller,
So this is your Tom
played
Hanks.
by Tom Hanks. This is my Tom Hanks
Everybody's got to
installment,
have
yes.
one Tom Hanks, right?
And again, the thing that makes this character, I think it's kind of almost a theme with some of these, is just that when he's put into certain situations, he steps up to the plate. And sometimes he makes mistakes, and he owns up to those mistakes at some point in the movie. But at the same time, as you go throughout the movie, you don't really know a lot of background. And as you progress through the movie, you start to learn a little bit more of him. And then by the end of the movie, you're like, wow, this is this dude. He is a school teacher, an English school teacher, and he's been thrust into this position of leading men in battle that's not what he wanted to do in his life. He wanted to teach. He wanted to be almost a docile type of existence, but yet he's been thrust into this World War II, and he's leading men in battle, and he does a very good job at leading them. And you see the struggle of, and he has the conversation with his first sergeant a lot, where he's, how many guys have died since you've gone into battle? And he asks other people this, and they don't know, but he knows the exact number of men that have died because of orders that he gave. Mm-hmm. And that's just the kind of coolness about that character that I really enjoyed. He knew that it had to be done, but it still affected him. It still had an impact on his psychological, on his mental, whatever you want to call it. But I really enjoy Captain John Miller's character a lot. It's probably one of the reasons I enjoy that movie so much. And that is my number 5.
My number 5 is Chihiro from the movie Spirited Away. This is my only animated one on the list.
That's a girl?
Yeah. And I really like her character. She's, I think, a 10-year-old girl who goes into this fantasy world. It's kind of like a Japanese Alice in Wonderland movie of sorts. And she starts the movie out. She's a petulant child. Her parents get turned into pigs. Go figure. And then she's stuck in this world where she's basically a slave of the evil
Crazy looking witch. Like.
Yaga, Baba, whatever, whoever she is. And
Baba Yaga?
Baba Yaga. Well, she looks like Baba Yaga.
Yeah, it does.
And so she is going through this movie, and you see a really strong character progression from being a afraid girl to a girl who's willing to do new things. And she's in all these scenes, and all these weird things are happening, and you see her grow. She reacts to them like a normal girl would. She has no superpowers, no special things other than as time goes by, she gets this determination. And I really like it. I think it's a cool character. It's a movie I like to show my kids, even though they don't like it as much as I do. Go figure. But
that movie's very nice. I haven't seen it in ages, but I liked it very much. All right, my number 5 is from the Kill Bill movies, The Bride.
that was another one on my short list.
The Bride.
I knew this was going to be on your list.
She... I like her as an actress a lot. I should have written down the actors' names. I did for some, but Uma Thurman, I like her a lot. She's very charismatic on screen for me, but as this character of the Bride, she has wit, and she's it's a great combination, like King Schultz, of the wit and the wry humor to a certain degree, and then the kicking butt aspect of her. You know, she is a ninja, basically, or, you know, for all intents and purposes, right? And it's her arc is heartbreaking. It's tough to watch sometimes, but she is so imbued with strength and determination that it's like watching a storm sort of get unleashed, you know, on screen, especially in the first movie. Second movie was so-so. Her character's still great in it, but I don't like that movie as much. But in the first movie, it's unbelievable. I really, really like her character and that movie as well. So, The Bride, which is what they call her for most of the movie.
Did you think it was going to be that easy? For a moment, I kind of did.
I kind of did. My number 5 is The Bride.
That's 2 Tarantino movies in a row there, man.
It is, you're right. Yeah, I didn't realize that.
Number 4.
My number 4 is the first one I wrote down because it's one of my favorite characters, and it's with the hat. It's Junior Jones, or Henry Jones, or Indiana Jones. I just like his character. I like how he is not a perfect character by any means. He's almost like Jackie Chan in that way, right? He's constantly getting beat up.
Yeah.
He's constantly falling over, making mistakes, saying, let's go that way. And it's like, no, let's go that way type thing. And yet he still lands on his feet all the time. He deals with he has a great cast of supporting characters around him at all times. I just watched the newest movie again with my kids. And yes, it's not the best of the Indiana Jones, but I still liked him in it. I still like Harrison Ford playing that character.
Right.
As soon as he picks up the whip, I'm like, woohoo! You know, I'm just excited about that. I like seeing him do his stuff. I like seeing him, like, really smart, archaeological, but at the same time, he will shoot you if he's tired and doesn't feel like a sword fight that day.
Yes.
I like that character a lot. Indiana Jones.
All right, my number 4 is my Tom Hanks character, and it could have been any one of them, okay? Tom Hanks had to be on the list. That's all there is to it. I couldn't read the top 10 Tom Hanks characters.
I thought about that. I could have done that too, I think.
And so my short list...
Let's guess. Which one did you... It's not one of the 2 we mentioned, right?
You guys said no.
I'm going to guess...
I have between 2. If you say either one, I'll give it to you.
I'm going to guess the warden from The Green Mile.
Oh, that's so good. No.
Oh, it has to be your favorite movie.
The boat captain.
No, because that's Apollo 13. He's good in that, but no.
The boat captain.
Forrest Gump?
Forrest Gump is the one I wrote, yeah. And my other choice was Chuck Nolan from Cast Away.
Oh, okay.
Okay, yeah. They're both good.
That one's got an amazing transformation.
Right.
That one's got the arc. It's unbelievable. I mean,
very much
he knocked it out of the park. But Forrest Gump there's not as much of a change in him, but the dedication to that role, how much he nailed that role, And if you've heard him as an actor talk about how he based large parts of that performance on the kid they hired to play him young, and instead, because originally the director said, teach this kid what you're gonna do, and he figured out, no, let him do whatever he's gonna do, and I'll learn from him. I'll do what he's doing, the kid.
Yeah.
And he just nails it, right? I mean, it is unbelievable to watch.
Right.
So, yeah, Tom Hanks had to be on the list. I don't care who. Pick a movie. Forrest Gump is my choice, but yeah, Chuck Nolan from Castaway, Green Mile, he's fantastic in that. That is my number 4.
Yeah, Forrest Gump was on my short list, but I just
We didn't want to make a top 10
I know,
time.
right.
no. I mean, there's a lot of good roles, that he has. All right, my number 4 is one that's already been mentioned by Tom.
Well, that could be. Is it Indiana Jones? I just mentioned that one.
No, that's higher up
It's
on
already
this
been
list.
mentioned.
Well, let's see. It's not the blind. Truman Burbank.
No, it is
William Wallace. That's right. You love that movie.
William Wallace from
William
Braveheart.
Wallace?
And again, for all of the reasons that Tom said before, he starts off. Now, I think it's a very similar thing to Maximus, where in The Gladiator, where he starts off in kind of a picturesque lifestyle, where he's meeting the young girl in his village, and his family, their families know each other, and this just kind of like a boyhood romance almost. But then father dies in battle, and
That's like in the first 2 minutes of the movie, dude.
his uncle Argyle comes and takes him away so he can learn to use his mind before his brawn and all that kind of stuff. And then he comes back, and he's kind of like starting at ground zero again, because he goes back to his family's home, and it's disheveled and disrepair, and he has to fix that up. But at the same time, he's still chasing after the girl, and then girl dies. And it's like, click, that light just comes on in his head, and he just turns into this tank of a person in battle. And it's just a really great roller coaster ride of emotions from that character. Really enjoyed it a lot. William Wallace from Braveheart, Mel Gibson.
Number 3.
My number 3 is a character from a movie you guys you might not have seen, or you probably haven't seen it. It's based on a play.
You probably haven't seen it.
It's really small. It's an HBO movie, actually. It's called Wit, and it's based on a play called Wit by Margaret Edson, and it's played by Emma Thompson, the lead character in it. And her name's the character's name is Vivian Baring.
You are correct.
And this movie it's a very, on the one hand, it's certainly a very sappy movie. It's about a woman who is a professor dealing with cancer. That's what the movie's about. And it's a very small movie. It almost entirely takes place in a hospital, with flashbacks to her at school, typically, and with her father when she was a little kid.
Oh, I'm watching this.
And this movie is this performance from Emma Thompson.
Well, she's a good actress.
Has to be one of just the best performances I've ever seen. It is, and then the language is so rich because the writing is so spectacular. It gives me a feeling of it's like a Stephen Strange thing, where she is so intellectual, she's off-putting, and through this experience starts to appreciate people, not just brains. And it's a very disarming performance. It's an arresting movie, unbelievable. So Wit, a movie that if I'm in the mood for, and you really got to be in the mood for, it'll kind of like wreck your day.
Okay, well, I'll watch it.
It's one of those movies.
I'll watch it at night.
It is a fantastic performance. Emma Thompson's Vivian Baring from Wit.
Cool.
That's my number 3.
My number 3 has already been mentioned by Zunya.
That would be.
Well, you already did a Tom Hanks one.
That would be
so.
Jason Bourne.
That would be Jason Bourne, played by Matt Damon in the Bourne series.
Hey, you were about to say trilogy,
Bourne-
and you realized.
The Bourne
and there's that
frugality.
one movie that shouldn't have been made without Matt Damon. But
The
anyway,
Bourne fallacy.
yeah. That's a good one. That's awesome. The Bourne supremacy, the Bourne whatever, the Bourne fallacy. Should have made that movie. Yes, exactly. But it's that whole reluctancy that he has. The reluctancy is, I just want to live my life. I just want to do this, but you guys keep bugging me. So I'm going to whoop your tail until you stop bothering me.
Right.
And then I'm going to go back to living my life until you show up again, and I'm going to whoop you again.
Right.
And it's that whole, that's just a really cool thing to me, where he simply just wants to be, he would have been just fine, him, his girl, living their life in some corner of the world somewhere. But no, they keep coming back and finding him, but at the same time, he still has inside of him wanting to find out his who he is and where his origin was and all that kind of stuff. So it's that chasing after his origin story that's always underneath the surface there. But generally speaking, he would have been happy just living his life, and they just won't let him do it. But I really enjoy that, the single person fighting against the machine type of feeling that it has as well. So my number 3, Jason Bourne, played by Matt Damon.
You mentioned that, and I noticed that on my list. For the most part, I like the everyman who is in some situation and through character and sheer force of will goes through it. And that's kind of most of my list, not all of it.
Mm-hmm.
And so this one continues on that, and that's Andy Dufresne from the Shawshank Redemption. I just like this character. He comes in at the beginning. They're like taking bets. When's this guy going to cry, right? He's going to cry at night. That's the first scene, and you see him, and he just goes through the movie like, do. I mean, different things happen, and he every once in a while does something like lock the prison doors and play music through the prison, and then suddenly escaping, and you're like, whoa, no, whatever. That's like in the trailers now, I think, for when he's in
Is
his
it
movie.
really?
Oh, they show him outside the prison in the poster.
Yeah, that's true.
Right, he's standing in the rain like this.
That's true.
How did that happen?
You don't know how
Yeah,
he got
whatever.
there. He just walked out.
He just walked
It
out.
is a really good movie. Like, you, at the end of the movie, you are just happy for him. Like,
That's true. It's the weirdest feel-good movie ever, really, because it
then he
shouldn't
dies.
be, right? He does die eventually, I mean.
anyway, Andy
Not
Dufresne,
in the movie.
my number 3.
Number 2.
My number 2 is my favorite character from the entire Lord of the Rings pantheon of characters. Can you guys guess who it is?
Legolas?
Get out of my face with that arrow-slinging fool.
Gimli.
Oh, that's your character.
Legolas
Aragorn.
is mine. So that only leaves Aragorn.
Aragorn.
Gandalf, son!
Gandalf? What?
That's right.
That would have been the last person I picked
No,
for your favorite character from Lord of the
Gandalf.
Rings.
What I like about Gandalf is that it's a character that's shrouded in mystery for large parts of the story, really for all of it, right? You never know.
Because he keeps riding away and stays gone for so long.
What I like about the character is that you never really know the extent of his power. That I like that a lot.
I feel like he can do whatever he wants.
Right, but he can really, but you never really know where that line is drawn. And he is flawed. He's a flawed character. He is. It's a very
Definitely has commitment issues.
It's a very human character, really.
I'll see y'all later.
Exactly.
Well, he gets trapped away, really. I mean, that's part of it. But that reluctance to, I feel like Frodo gets all the praise for that whole doing something I don't want to do thing.
Oh, yeah, whatever. The guy whined the whole movie.
Deserves just as much praise for that. He gets thrust into this thing, and he brings all this knowledge to it. He knows how tough it's going to be.
Mm-hmm. And he still
Frodo
doesn't
is
do it.
just...
Yeah, I'll take it. Sure, no.
Yeah, right. He doesn't know.
Took him a while to open that door, I'm just saying.
So Gandalf is the one leaning over the ring going, I'm going to put it in this envelope. I like that character. And then this idea of not knowing really how powerful is he. He's like a weird mentor character that you just don't know about. Very mysterious character. Yeah, I really like Gandalf.
These are my favorite movies. I love the Lord of the Rings trilogy. I just couldn't think of I thought about it, and I couldn't think of one character in the movie. It's almost like an ensemble to me.
Sure.
I liked them all. I didn't pick any specific character from it.
Okay.
But I like them all. I like Legos. I like Gimli. I like Gandalf. I like Bilbo. But I mean, I like Bilbo better than Frodo.
Oh, by far.
I thought Martin Freeman did an amazing job
Oh,
playing
wait,
him.
yeah, it's a more interesting character too.
And
Anyway,
actually, I like Sam better than Frodo.
is there a character?
I met
Thank you.
All right, what do you got?
All right, my number 2 is also from the Lord of the Rings trilogy.
I knew when he didn't agree with me there, I knew he had to have one on the list.
It's Gimli, son.
It's gotta be Gimli.
No, it's not.
It's got to be the warg rider, number 3 there, the one that flips over the warg.
It's Elrond.
Elrond?
It's Elegor. No, it's the
hello,
lady. It's
Mr.
the lady of the water or whatever.
Aragorn.
James Earl Jones.
Strider. No, it's
Oh,
Strider.
Strider. Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
it's Strider. And the reason I picked him over Gandalf is because, first of all, I think that he is the central character of the entire series.
I think this could be like an hour-long debate, but yes.
It could be. But anyway, the main reason I picked him was because he is always there.
Well, he wasn't in the first 20 minutes.
Oh, he
Come
got
on,
you.
you know what I mean.
He was watching from the shadows.
When he steps in, he is like always with, unless
No, they
step
separate,
away.
man.
Well, again, who left?
Gimli.
Gandalf.
No. Gandalf left, and then Frodo walked off on his own.
Yeah, but Gandalf was watching from a bird the whole time.
Shut up. No, he wasn't. You
Also, Aragorn didn't change colors.
hijacking my part of the whole list?
Aragorn didn't change colors halfway through.
I'm
So
not-
I'm just saying.
Not gonna try to logicize with any of y'all no more. Anyway, I really enjoyed Aragorn's role in the movie because I think he is more of a mentor to the hobbits than even Gandalf was.
Okay.
Because I mean, Gandalf is important because, like you said, he's bringing knowledge. He knows all of the players of the thing, even more than the other people who are supposed to be his equals, Elrond and that lady from the forest. Galadriel, yes. He knows, seems like more than they do. It's like his eyes have been opened more than theirs
Yeah,
have.
right.
And
You never quite know how much he knows
right.
is the thing.
But on the same time, I think Aragorn is almost on that same level, where he might not know everything that's going on, but he definitely has a better sense of what's going on than everybody else in the movie. And yet he still is pushing. He still is pushing. And I just really enjoyed his character the most out of that entire movie. I love the play between the elf and the dwarf. I love that. Love Gimli, and that's great. He's probably my very close second favorite. But Aragorn, just because he is the rightful king of Gondor.
Well, the thing about a lot of the characters on your list is that whole the throne is yours, but you don't want it thing.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
that's that, right?
Exactly.
He has got
Correct. So that's my number 2, Aragorn from Lord of the Rings by Viggo Mortensen.
My number 2 was on Sam's list already, and Z needs to seriously watch this movie.
Rudy, man.
Daniel
Rudy!
Rudiger. I love Rudy. I've watched it probably
Sam
10
watched
times.
Gamgee, man.
And you know what? The ending of Rudy is great. It really is a fantastic finish. But my favorite part is where he's at that college across the street from Notre Dame.
Yeah.
And he's just taking these tests. And then you see him go to there. And then he goes here and he's helping out in this. And he goes here and it's just this montage of him trudging.
Yeah.
But the soundtrack's great. And he just keeps trying, no matter what. He's like, woohoo, let's go.
Yeah.
And I love it. I love the first time he shows up on the football team and they're like, you're making us look bad.
Yeah.
And he's like,
Stop trying so hard. Yeah.
it's like, I'm trying to do my best. It's a great movie. I really like that character. Sean Astin is just I really like him as an actor. And I think that was his best role, better than Sam even. But anyway,
That's
Rudy.
possible.
Daniel Rudiger.
And finally, number 1.
All right.
Here we go.
Walking down the street.
Fly, you fool!
11.
Also, okay, that's twice in a row, actually, we've done that now.
Oh.
Oh, you're out of this one. 19.
20! No.
All right, we're just going to go down the line. Sam, Z, me. Man, there's a lot of characters I know you really like.
Yep.
And so I went, what do you think Sam's favorite is? Is it Indiana? No, it's Han Solo.
It's Han Solo, it has to be, right?
It has to be Han
It
Solo.
has to be.
He was my... Again, I only picked one character for each actor.
Right, but it has to be
But
Han
you haven't
Solo,
done- you haven't done
and
another
not
Harrison Ford,
Indiana
have you?
Jones.
No, I
Indiana
haven't.
Jones is a stupid hat. Han Solo flies a ship. If Indiana Jones had a spaceship, I'd say, okay, sure.
But Indiana Jones is a much more developed character than Han Solo was.
Is that your number one?
Man, I'll shoot first
Number
if you
one.
put Indiana Jones on the other side of Han
That's my
Solo.
number one. See, the thing is, though, Indiana Jones shot first.
He
too.
did. He really did shoot first.
Well, he also
That's-
shot a man with a sword.
That's
that
right.
animal.
That's still one of my favorite scenes. So the guy comes in.
Yeah,
And then
love
he just
that.
goes on. He just moves on. Yeah.
yeah. Love the character. Love and yeah, I'm probably gonna catch some flack for not having Han Solo. He is definitely my favorite Harrison Ford outside of Indiana Jones. The reason I picked Indiana Jones over Han Solo was just because of the background that the character has. There's a lot, if you don't read the books, like there's a Han Solo trilogy of books out there. If you don't read the books, you really know nothing about Han Solo.
This might change after the new movie comes out. Maybe you'll really like
That's
it.
true. That's
That's true. Yeah.
But you really know nothing about Han Solo.
Right.
It's a
I mean, he has a
complete.
friend who's like a rug-looking cat.
Yeah, he's walking.
Oh my goodness.
Walking carpet. Yeah. And that's a complete polar opposite from Indiana Jones. You know
true.
his upbringing. You know, especially if you watch all of the movies, you know a lot about this character, and that makes him to be more endearing than Han Solo. Han Solo is a cool character. Don't get me wrong, but if I had to choose one Harrison Ford character that I'm going to put on the list, it's going to be Indiana Jones at this point.
Okay.
Obviously, I agree with you. All right. My number one character has been in 7 different movies, and the last one didn't even have his name on it, but the other 6 did. And that is Rocky Balboa. I really like him, and I like him more as old Rocky. Like in Creed, I really loved the character.
Really?
He played a really good old boxer mentor type. But I also liked him as, in Rocky 1, where he's like, I liked him in Rocky 3, where he got super cocky.
Yeah.
And then Mr. T
I was
showed
not
up.
expecting this on your list at all. This is like the farthest thing from my mind.
When I watched Creed,
I know you were surprised by my Conan. That was 10. This is your 1?
yeah, I really like. I mean, it's weird because it's Sylvester Stallone, right? Not known for his acting usually.
Your 0 is going to be Steven Seagal's Under Siege character.
No, it's Gary Busey.
Oh, man. What is happening?
No, but I really like Rocky. When I first watched Rocky Balboa, that's where I really was like, man, I love this guy. His wife died. He's like all alone now. And okay, he's going to try to come back and fight one more time. Then Creed shows up at his door and he's like, I don't want to train you. And then comes around, he gets cancer. It's really.
I haven't actually seen that one.
You haven't seen Creed?
Yeah.
Creed is not my favorite Rocky movie, but it's like in the top 3. Did you not like Creed as much? I thought Creed was amazing.
Well, it's not my least favorite Rocky movie. Probably the Rocky. What is it?
The one with the Russian is 4.
I know.
That's my favorite, but that's also really cheesy. But I
think
man.
5 is probably my least favorite Rocky
5
movie.
is-
well, yeah, it's everyone's least favorite Rocky movie.
Yeah, so
Five's
that's
really
probably
bad.
my least favorite. This Creed is probably, I don't know, it's on that cusp of not being a Rocky movie because
Sure.
it's not a Rocky movie. It's all about Apollo's
It's almost
son.
a Rocky reboot.
Yeah,
It's
kind of.
pretty close. But anyway, I just like that character a lot.
No,
I like
it's a
him.
good
I like him as
character,
the wise mentor, but I also like him as the young, come on, type character.
Yep.
Great arc. All right, what do you got for number 1? Let's see.
My number 1 is from a movie that's been mentioned, but not the character I picked.
All right, hang on. Let's guess
Like
it.
a bee.
It's on your list, Tom.
It's on my list. Okay, so not Truman, not William Wallace, Andy Dufresne. Oh, then you like Red.
Correct. My number 1 is Redding from Shawshank Redemption. I like Andy Dufresne's character fine, but I find Red to be the
You think the movie's about him?
Is that Morgan Freeman's character?
Morgan Freeman's character, right?
Morgan Freeman could be like, we could make a top 10
Again,
for him
that's
too.
another guy who's like, yeah, Morgan Freeman,
Yeah.
Just Morgan Freeman's voice would make the list, probably, right? I think the movie is largely about him, because technically Andy Dufresne does not change much from the beginning to the end. He's like
Well,
the
he
guy
also
who got,
was innocent.
He was, right. Redding was not.
Right.
You know that off the bat, pretty much, right? But he finds redemption almost through Dufresne's story.
Well, I think that the movie's about that.
Sure. And it's this idea of institutionalized living and what he's like when he gets out, and which is just at the end. But there's a lot of great monologuing over those scenes, and yeah, I love the beats that they create with him getting paroled, where he goes to the parole hearing, and he's like, yeah, what? He gives him answers that are canned answers at first, and then the final time he goes in there, that speech is just, it sucks the air out of the room, right? That's fantastic. And so, yeah, Redding from Shawshank, my favorite character, and I love that movie. Everyone in it is great, but he steals that movie. Yeah.
All right, well, cool. Well, tell us what your favorite heroes are in movies. Tell us where we went wrong. Tell us why, I don't know, just comment away. We'll be back to board games next week in a top 10 party games.
Should have been Chewbacca.
No, we'll do a top 10 supporting characters at some point, because that's fun to do, too. But,
I want to share my ones that I just missed it.
all right, go
First
ahead.
of all, Gandalf missed.
Yep.
Gandalf just missed it. John Coffey. Michael
from-
Clark Duncan from Green
great.
Mile. Great character. Han Solo. Captain Jack Sparrow. Love that character. Love him. Rocky Balboa was on that. Lieutenant Frank Drebin. Love this guy. Do you ever... Lieutenant Frank
Are you talking
Drebin?
about
The Naked Gun.
the Naked Gun series?
Yes.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh my goodness,
Whatever.
that guy makes me laugh. John Preston.
John Preston.
Christian Bale.
Equalizer? Well, I didn't know what the guy's
Equilibrium.
I didn't know what the guy's name was.
John Preston.
Okay.
Equilibrium. That. Oh my goodness, I love that character in that movie. Blondie. The man. Actually, it's the man without a name.
Oh, a Good, Bad, and the Ugly.
Good, bad, and the
yeah.
ugly. And Jack Burton.
Oh, yeah, Jack Burton. It's Jack
Should be
Burton.
Burton.
Who's that from? What's that from? I'm not sure. I probably know it, but it's
Pork
not.
Chop Express.
No,
Jack
no,
Burton.
the China one.
Oh, yeah,
Trouble
right.
in
That's
China.
Kurt Russell's
Yes,
character. Yeah.
Kurt Russell. And then the last one that was on my list is Brian Mills, played by Liam Neeson from the Taken movies.
My short list
love
was
that
fairly short, actually. I stopped when I had them, but the one I didn't mention was I do like Neo from The Matrix as a character is interesting.
Really?
I thought it was interesting, but it didn't make the list. And then Mad Max, I like that character too.
I thought he would be on your list, actually. Alrighty. We'll see you guys next time. Until then, I'm Tom Vasel.
Zee Garcia.
Sam Healey. See you on the flip side, folks.